Hi, everyone. Do you hear me? Yes, great. So, welcome, whatever time it is, wherever you are around the world. Bruchim habayim to our slang evening. Um, this will be mostly like partly English, partly Hebrew, because there are people in different levels here tonight. So I'll say a few words about what is happening in the Ulpan now, what we're doing tonight, and then we'll start. Um, So as most of you probably know, I don't know if all of you are currently students in the Ulpan. If not, you should be. We reopened the Ulpan, actually about 2, 3 months ago, we moved all of the Ulpan online um, because of the Corona crisis, pandemic. That happened very quickly and was really strange, but it worked, it happened somehow. And then about 2 weeks ago, um, we reopened the Ulpan for physical classes, and so far that's been strange, but has been working out fine as well, knock on wood. So the courses are ongoing. If you're not with us right now and you want to join, you can always send us an email or call us or come by, and we'd love to see you all. Those of you who had to go back to any country around the world and are planning on coming back, we hope you can do so soon. And just in general, be safe. So tonight we have, I think, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teachers from the Ulpan who will explain about Israeli slang, different stuff, and a few minutes for each one, and we can have questions in the end. We had this whole conversation while we were making this event about what actually is slang, and many different things came up, so I'm not sure we'll come up with the slang that you want to know about, but you can ask at the end. Just for example, the slang chashmal, electricity, chashmal, started.
Его ощущение как бы близости, да, цели. Вот как девушка ждет меня.
How is that possible? I'll put you, sorry. Chashmal was like the most used slang in Israel about, I don't know, 6 months ago, and disappeared almost immediately. It like burnt out really quickly, but it was used by everyone to express something like, great. Do you want to go see that movie? Chashmal. That was how it went, more or less. So, as I said, we'll have the questions in the end about stuff we discussed or stuff that you want to ask about, and hopefully we can answer. And I'll bring the stage to Yaron, the manager of the Ulpan, who will say some introduction, and then we'll continue to Noah. So this is Yaron.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes, I think so. So hi, good to see you all and all of these familiar faces. It's very, very nice to see. So hello and welcome. A little about what we're doing tonight. So first, slang. Slang is something very, very strange because it's basically a language that develops within a language. So it's never something formal. It's almost never something that you can actually find in a legitimate dictionary. And if you're asking me, then every person has his or her own slang. And this is why we decided to hold this event in a little different manner than usual. So we don't have one person speaking, but we decided to split this thing between us. And every person chose something that interests them. Slang that we actually use and that we like and that speaks to us. It means that maybe, a little more about slang. So slang is something that also develops and it belongs to sometimes closed circles. So maybe I will teach you a word that me and my friends use, but I wasn't even aware that no one else uses it. I will definitely try not to do it, but this could happen. And maybe someone else will think that the word that we taught you means something different because in their area, in the old north of Tel Aviv. It just means something completely different. So keep that in mind. But for this reason, we actually decided to do it a little differently. So every teacher chose a different phrase or words or a set of words to look at. Each of us did it in a completely different way. So you're going to see like 5 approaches to teaching slang today. Every person did it differently. And I hope you'll have fun. We'll start with Noah. So I'll pass the baton, or אני אעביר את השרביט, כמו שאומרים בעברית, להעביר את השרביט לנועה, ואנחנו מתחילים.
I'm sure that it means something completely different in the north of Tel Aviv, להעביר את השרביט. Hi, I'm Noah. I'm a teacher in the Ulpan, and I'm going to teach you, it's not exactly a slang, it's more of an expression that is derived from Israeli culture in general, and also it reveals our deepest fears. So let's start. This expression comes from a very famous movie that came out in the late 80s in Israel. It's a really sad, really tragic movie. It's called Hakayit Shel Avia, Avia's Summer. And it discusses the life of, I don't know, a 10-year-old girl that her mother is a Holocaust survivor and also like very, very mentally damaged out of trauma. And it's really a tragedy. I'm going to show you part of the film that it's in Hebrew. There's no translation, but I strongly imagine that you will understand everything that's going on there, because it's really, you can't really miss what's going on there. I started crying. It happens every time I watch the scene. I'm very sorry. Okay, so what we saw now is Avia's 10th birthday. Oh, wait. Oy, maze. Slicha. That was Avia's 10th birthday anniversary, and her mother kind of tries to force everyone to come into her birthday, and she's kind of overdoing it. Everybody recognizes that something is completely wrong there. People are tempted by the cakes, etc., but they all kind of like fade away throughout the party. Now, this is probably one of the saddest scenes I've ever seen in any film ever since. But for some very strange reason, this scene has a very essential saying in Israeli culture. When we are throwing a party, or we're starting a gallery or whatever, we're a gala of any sort, we would often tell our friends, Al ta'asu li hakayit shel Avia. Literally, don't do Avia's summer to me, which means obviously, don't make me sit alone in my event with nobody coming. Now, I think it's very strange that this horrible, horrible scene is kind of something that people just throw out while speaking to their friends, etc. But I'd like to show you what's going on when I'm searching this term on Facebook. Right? I pre-did this. I wrote, Al ta'asu li hakayit shel Avia. Now, obviously, I used it. See? מסיבת יום הולדת 30 לנועה, that was a long time ago, my friends. אל תעשו לי הקיץ של אביה. That was me saying that. I didn't pre-make this for this event. But it's not only me. תשאלו הכל, רק אל תעשו לי הקיץ של אביה. Ask anything, but don't do Avia's summer to me, which means this is a post of Ask Me Anything in a very popular Israeli group. So, I mean, it's a casual thing, but she says, don't do a kite Avia to me. I don't know. Here is an event, everybody's coming, don't do a kite Avia to me. This week on Thursday, don't do a kite Avia to me, etc., etc. So amaze your Israeli friends by inviting them to your party and saying, don't do Hakayit Shel Avia to me. And remember this horrible, horrible scene that is so essential to our lovely Israeli culture. The end.
Hi, I'm back. Yaron just wanted to point out that this movie, I'll type in the IMDb page for it. is based on the actress who plays the mother. It's based on her real childhood.
Not exactly.
More or less. Her mother was a Holocaust survivor.
No, she wasn't. She was born in Israel.
Oh my God! You're embarrassing me publicly.
I'm sorry. I would have said that if it had it been true.
So it's an Israeli urban myth, I guess.
Yes.
Next up is Yaron. He'll be talking about old school slang versus new slang. So we're bringing Yaron back.
Myself. Okay, now you can hear me. Wait, let me share screen. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen now. Oh, this is not what I intended you to see. Okay, great. So let's start. So basically what I wanted to present is a little, some minor differences that you might hear between the ages. So as I said at the beginning, then slang is something that, I mean, it has circles. Some people use one slang and the other just a completely different thing. So many times we can use slang to identify of which generation you are, and I wanted you to see some small differences between some phrases. So the title of this is מילים שמראות שאתם לא באותו גיל. Words that show that you're not at the same age. You see this beautiful grandchild saying, איזה צחוק עם סבא, which means I'm having fun, more or less. And the Saba is saying, על הכיפק, which is a very, very old school way to say, great. Okay, so let's see some differences. So in the old days, people used to say סוף הדרך. סוף הדרך was a phrase that was used to say that something is perfect. סוף הדרך literally means the end of the road, but for some reason it became a slang for something which is great. Now, no one uses it anymore. I mean, old people do, but young people just don't use it. And we have so many different ways to say that something is perfect, but my favorite one is to say mush. And I've written it with like 12 shins because on Instagram or when you're writing a WhatsApp or a text message, many times people tend to add the last letter more and more and more, just like to show how big their, excitement is. And the picture I used here is of Mush Ben Ari, who is just like a famous singer, and he's completely not related to this slang. So mush is just a way to say perfect. Many people just say it, mush. It's a short version of mushlam, perfect. So sof haderech versus mush. Sof haderech, the old way, mush, the new way. And remember to multiply your shins. I'm continuing. Okay, sababa egozim. Sababa egozim entered the Hebrew lexicon somewhere, I'm assuming, around the year 2000. And it stayed with us for a couple of years until it really became deprecated. I mean, no one actually uses it today. It sounds so strange. And yet, since Facebook arrived, we have a new one, ahavti. Ahavti is just what the Hebrew translation of Facebook had for like, and it really entered the language. So many people just say ahavti about so many things and about ideas. So if someone has a good idea and you just want to say, oh, yes, I'm in, you just say ahavti. You don't have to add a finger. It looks creepy, I assume. So sababa egozim, if you hear that, then someone probably came with a time machine from the year 2000. Let's continue. Giz'i. Giz'i is a very nice word, I must say. It just means cool. Cool, giz'i. But no one uses giz'i anymore. So there was a transition phase. So after giz'i, which is, I think, from the 70s, people used for a while magniv, which was the word for cool that I grew up on. So magniv is a word that is still used, and it just means cool. And today, I don't know if you hear it a lot, but I hear it all the time. People say style. They say and write style, exactly where you'd use cool. So style from English, just like this, into Hebrew became the new cool. So giz'i, old, magniv, still being used, my generation, the new generation, style. I'm continuing. Baal habayit. Baal habayit, I must say, is really one of my favorites. It's the way that people used to call their boss, but it's also sort of a way to address the person who you think is like the important person that you want to speak with. So when people in the old days entered shops, then seeing like the shop owner or looking for the shop owner, they just automatically came to them as Baal habayit, ma nishma. And today no one uses it unless you're going around the Ulpan and there is like the Levinsky market where all of those stores for spices and cleaning appliances, etc. And they're pretty old school. And every time I come to a shop like that, then people come to me and address me as Baal habayit, because it's also a way for the person in the shop or in the store to address like the client. So Baal habayit is like a way to show you that they respect you. But you don't have to use it anymore. Today, young people say melech, king. We use a lot of melech, nasich, prince, nesicha, princess, in order to address someone and to show respect. And it sounds nice. I mean, I know it sounds very strange to call someone my king, and it really, I mean, why would people do that? But yes, but it works, and it's a cool way to express yourself. So ma nishma melech sounds good. I'm continuing. Inal dinak versus Eize zayin. So here I use the same picture. As you see, she's sort of cursing, and this is actually a curse word. You know those curses that you just say to yourselves, like when something bad happened to you and you just want to say, I hate it. So people used to say Nal Dinak. It's very old school. My wife's father uses it a lot, and he approaches his 70s now. And today most people say Eize zayin, which literally means what a dick. And so this is the word that, I mean, you can hear it so often in the streets, Eize zayin, Eize zayin. Atem lo יודעים מה קרה לי. Eize zayin, atem lo יודעים מה קרה לי just means, oh my God, what a bummer, you don't know what just happened to me. So although zayin is dick, it doesn't sound like a real curse. It sounds legit. Continuing. Okay, so PC alert. You probably heard the word kusit, which is written here. You probably heard it before. And PC alert, I'm not sure how nice it is to use it. Actually, I'm pretty sure that I won't use it ever in the street. But I do have to say that many people use it, especially when they're not speaking to the person they're referring to. And what it means is hottie or hot girl. The old word was shafa, that came from Arabic. And shafa in Arabic, if I'm not mistaken, comes from the root of shuf, which is to see. And shafa is a person that's nice to look at, or someone that draws attention. Kusit is a word that I would say don't use in the street, and don't tell anyone, wow, as a kusit, because it sounds very, very misogynistic. But many times you hear people, especially girlfriends, speaking with each other, telling each other. So two girls can definitely tell each other, wow, at kol kach kusit basimla azot. Wow, you look so good in this dress. So when it's between like girls usually, or partners, it's always legit. Don't say it out loud in the street, please. I beg you, I beg you, I beg you. Okay, continuing. So shafa, the old version, kusit, the new one. Leazazel and kusemek. So it's very, very close to the inal dinak that I showed you earlier, the inal dinak versus as a zain. Kusemek is a curse word from Arabic. It literally means your mother's pussy, which is bad. So first thing, it's good that Israelis don't really know it. But when you say this curse word to an Arab person, he might get mad at you. But in Hebrew, for some reason, I mean, I guess that no one just knows the translation, it sounds pretty okay. And it also just means, what a bummer. So this versus le'azazel, to hell, which is a very, very old curse word, and it's very, very Hebrew. So le'azazel, it actually comes from the Bible. Le'azazel, to hell. Azazel was actually a physical place in Jerusalem where they threw the goats that they sacrificed, so this became like a curse word today. And kusemek is basically the new version. You can also say it to people if you're super angry at them, but be careful, hide your face, and wear your sports shoes and start running. Next one. This one I really like. So I really like, first, because of the picture I chose here. It took me a lot of time to think about it. So first, the difference. We have two words here, meruba, which is square, versus sachi. Now, meruba was the old way to say that someone is just square, someone that, I mean, doesn't, sort of a geek, someone who does everything according to like the way it should be. And the new version of this word is sachi. Now, the literal translation of sachi is someone who doesn't do drugs, or who does drugs, like smokes weed, but today he's not smoking weed, then he's a sachi. But today this word means something completely different, and it refers to these people here, actually, that you see here. So I found it very hard to explain to people so far what sachi means and how a sachi looks like. And here I have a picture of 6 sachis, and they're not Israelis. So maybe five, because I don't want to include Phoebe in it, because she's not a sachi. But sachi is sort of a very, very like straightish kind of person, doesn't do drugs, not very funny, does everything according to plan. Usually you would see them with like the shirts that are still from the end of the army, and they're like sandals, like the Israeli sandals. So this is also a prototype of the sachi. So this is meruba, like the old way to say it, and sachi, the new one. Let's continue. I think this is my last one for this presentation. So, mise. It's a good question. So when I wrote on Google chatich, then I saw this guy here. Chatich just means like, it's like the male version for kusit, but it's a lot less problematic. So you can say chatich and chaticha also for a woman. And today it kind of changes, and there is a new way to say that someone is hot. Just say lohet, which basically means very, very hot. Literally, this is what it meant. And so you can also say amarak, the soup, lohet, super warm, extremely warm. But it's something that you can also just use to express that someone looks very, very good. So this was my first presentation for today about slang, old versus new. This was me, Ilan. I'm passing the baton back to you.
Hi, that was Yaron's slightly not PC talk, but I hope you managed. Okay, so next up is Noel with his talk about the favorite word and most used word in Israel, hazui.
Yes, hazui. Okay, hi everybody. I'm Noel, and I want to talk to you about hazui. Who has heard this word before? Are you all seeing my my file? Okay. Who has heard this word before? Hazui. איזה hazui. Hakol hazui po. You can unmute yourself and answer. Or the teachers can also answer. Okay.
Thing will be a hazui thing to do for everyone. So
Again, what?
Canceling your mute would be very hazui. So don't do it. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Okay. Anyway, you see these guys, they're pretty hazuim. They're pretty, I would say, weird, out of the ordinary, right? And this, slowly we'll get to the meaning. I'm taking you on a journey with this word, okay? And I want to go back in time talking about this root. So I researched this a bit, and in Ivrit Shel HaTanakh, in biblical Hebrew, it is mentioned meaning somebody who is daydreaming. You see, he's imagining sitting in his desk doing boring chores, but daydreaming, כן, הוא הוזה על טיולים, he's daydreaming about his vacation and the house he will buy with all the money that he's not going to make. So daydreaming, חולם בהקיץ, הוזה, he's submerged in his dreams, imagining, okay? So that was like the original meaning. Okay, moving on to something more modern, LSD, guys, okay, was invented by this guy who experimented with hallucinogenic substances, right? And he was not sachi at all. He didn't want to be sachi. He wanted to use drugs. So if you take LSD or any other kind of drug, I don't know them because I am pretty much sachi myself, you can also start hallucinating. So lehezot, okay, like the verb liknot, hozeh, haza, haziti, okay, or I start getting hallucinations, hazaya, okay. So these are the like traditional meanings of this root and verb. And then we have this guy. Who's this guy? Picasso, okay. I don't know what he was taking, but I think his paintings are pretty hazuim. Okay? They're not like realistic. It's like he's been taking drugs or something and looking at the world from a totally different point of view. Okay, is this like a woman? Or what the hell is this? What's going on here? It's not realistic, it's unreal. So maybe somebody would say, Achi, הציורים שלך הזויים. Okay, like bro, like what have you been taking? Your paintings are like totally delusional or weird or crazy or bizarre or zany. Okay. More examples. What do you think about Tel Aviv apartment prices? Do you want to buy an apartment? Azui, it's fucking azui. Okay, so Tel Aviv apartment prices are fucking unreal. המחירי הדירות בתל אביב, fucking azuim. It's like somebody has been taking LSD and hallucinating, being totally delusional. Okay, like what the fuck? Like, come on. Hazui, it's just hazui. Okay, later I'll show you this YouTube video because when I start seeing it, I lose control. It's like so funny. So, because some people go on Kochav Nolad, the Israeli idol, you know, and they think they know how to sing, but they're totally, what? Hazuim. They're delusional. They don't really know how to sing. Do you want to see? Do you want to watch it now? Maybe I'll try to control myself.
Yes.
Okay. Let's watch it now. I hope I am sharing with sound. Where is this audition Hazui? Oh, here we are. Okay. So they're going to this northern small town in Israel called Tveria, Tiberias. So we won't see everything, but I'll just lead you through it. Can you hear this? Can you hear it? Yeah?
Good.
שחר סלומון, מה עם שחר? בסדר, מה שלומך? מאיפה בארץ? נהריה. מה לומד? בית ספר. תיכון? תלמיד, כן. איפה אתה יוצא לך לשיר? אפשר בדרך כלל המשפחה. אתה יודע, עולה נותן. יאללה, מה אתה עולה נותן לנו היום? תגידי של שלמה ארצי. תגידי של שלמה ארצי! תגידי כי כמעט שכחתי מה זה רגש. שלימדת אותי, לא מרגיש אפילו יום. תגידי כי אולי נכון, ולא לפתח.
Okay, I wouldn't say he's that bad, okay? But take a look at this guy. Where is this guy? He's my idol. Okay, wait.
וואו, מיץ גזע, אתה מבין? וואו, מיץ גזע. זה לא ממש מסעדה, זה יותר קיוסק, בסטה. ואתה שרת שמה? כן. יכול להיות שהפרעת לו? כנראה שלחו אותי איזה אחי. אתה אמיתי, נכון? כן, כל הזמן. מה אתה עושה בחיים? חי.
Okay, so he's like interviewing him. So he's asking him, what do you do in life? I live. That's what he's answering. And let's just wait because you have to hear this guy sing. It's amazing. It's fucking hazui.
זה משה ננה. זה כל הגולה. כמובן, מה תשאיר לנו, יקרי? חשבתי שבחי. יאללה. אוקיי. שבחי ירושלים את המונה
Okay, I guess you get the picture. So some people are delusional. They think they can do something, but they're like totally unreal. Who is also unreal? This new boss is totally הזויה. Okay? הבוסית החדשה בעבודה הזויה, היא רוצה שנעבוד ביום שישי עד 6 בערב. She's totally crazy. She wants us to work on Friday until 6 p.m. יש לה דרישות הזויות. She has unrealistic, is dope, like that's, I've been hearing that from the students. Dope, does that mean like good, cool, or like also hazui? What does it mean in like current American slang? Who can tell us?
Dope means it's cool.
So that's like in a good way, like in a realistic way, not like delusionally.
Not delusional, like kind of cool. Yeah.
Okay, so she doesn't.
No one really says it anymore.
Yeah. Okay, I had some students who've been saying it like all the time recently. Good. Okay, so unrealistic. כן, יש לה דרישות הזויות. Okay, great. Now this guy has a show on TV which is literally called Hazui because he claims to be a mentalist. Okay, so Shimi Atias, this guy is like tripping. He thinks he's like God or something. Okay, so he actually, maybe he knows what he's talking about. So he's like being very reflexive about himself, and he's calling himself Hazui. Yeah. Okay, so to sum up, it can mean bizarre, non-normative, unexpected, zany, outsider, odd, not moral, unreal, imaginary, or eccentric. Yeah, like the Tel Aviv apartment prices, Azuim. The bossit, Hazuya. Okay. I have here some newspaper headlines, so I can translate them for you and tell me what you think the shade of meaning is. So one of the Israeli politicians, Lieberman, is saying, Gantz has made a Hazui move. It's his right to be wrong. So how would you understand Hazui from that? Benny Gantz, he promised 1.3 million Israelis that he would replace Netanyahu, but now he actually joined him. Okay, so Lieberman is saying he's made a Hazui move. What do you think that means?
Unexpected.
Unprecedented.
Yeah. Strange.
Crazy. Unexpected, yeah. And also he's been said to be a bit delusional or Hazui himself. Maybe he has some kind of dementia going on. He's been like stumbling and mumbling in interviews. Yeah, okay. Another guy called Eitan Nahum is saying it's like totally Hazui what's going on in this company. Service is probably it's like not something acceptable in this company. It's like not something they are interested in. It's, providing good customer service. So it's totally hazui. What would you? How would you translate that? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dysfunctional?
Sorry, what?
Dysfunctional.
Yeah, dysfunctional, delusional. It's totally unexpected or like totally bizarre that like a business would not be interested in providing good quality service. So it's just delusional. They're delusional. They think they'll still be having customers after giving such a shirut hazui. Okay. Great. And there is this guy called Rovik Rosenthal, who is like I would say Israel's top. He's not actually like an academic linguist. He's more a language researcher, and he's written many interesting books also about slang. And on his website, which is linked down here, I found a list of the 10 most annoying slang words for Israelis, according to a survey conducted in 2017. So I would say that it's totally hazui, that the word hazui is on this list because I actually like it. Okay, but apparently some Israelis find it annoying. And to follow up Yaron's presentation, kusit is number one because probably I guess many people find it offensive. Kapara, keilu, as if, motek, like sweetheart, darling, achi, which is, I guess, the most popular word in Hebrew right now. Ken, I think in the future, maybe we will only use this word. You won't need the ulpan because everybody would just say achi in different intonations. Mefaneh, kasum, and hazui, number 8. That's pretty interesting. So if you want to know more, you can check out this link. So I guess the ulpan will post this presentation and I can also post this link in the chat. Any questions?
What does achi mean?
Bro, like my brother, bro. Hey, bro.
Okay.
And then it's become like super popular in Israel. Some people think it's like, you know, a way of affectionately relating to your friends. אחי, בוא נלך לים, וואלה, אחי, איזה מסיבה, וואלה, משהו היסטרי. But some people, like Rogel Alfer, who is very critical of Israeli culture, from Iton Haaretz, believe it's a way, אחי, כן, that's like another slang word, believe that it's a way that Israelis still delude themselves, okay? So they're also hazuim, thinking that all Israelis are one big happy family, there are no conflicts here, and it's a way to mask the conflicts between social groups. So he feels that it's a personal attack on his individuality when everybody calls him achi, because you're not really his brother if you belong, let's say, to a totally polarized social group politically. Yeah, but it's just very common. I think achi can now replace the period at the end of sentences, because some Israelis, every sentence they say finishes with achi. Okay? רוצה ללכת למקדונלדס, וואלה, אחי, אחי, יש לי בוס משוגע, אחי, רוצה לבוא לים, אחי, כן? יאללה, נפגשים היום בערב, אחי. So it's like super common, just if you're living in Israel, try to, you know, listen to what people are saying on the street.
And can you say it to a girl?
Yeah, the taxi driver called me today achoti, so maybe
that's...
Yeah,
it's like he's affectionately calling you a sister. I'm assuming it's something similar, you know, to how African Americans, you know, refer to each other with like bro or sister. Yeah, to give this sense of a community, you know, belonging to a community.
I must add that my wife just said it to me, and I think she's correct. I think that between women, it actually works a little better than between men. So there is like there's like this sisterhood, this sister familiarity. So a lot of women, at least in Florentine, call each other achoti, achoti, and it sounds like very, very nice. While if someone would have called me achi, I would just ignore him. So that That's my 5 cents on it, 2 cents on it. Yalla, let's move to Peleg, I think, no?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Peleg, but it says Tal on the username, and it's really Hazui, maybe. Sorry. Okay. But I brought my roommate Tal for theatrical purposes, and we're going to demonstrate something a little weird. It's not about it's not so much about words like vocabulary. It's a little bit about syntax, how a syntactical structure can become a slang, or like the slang inside the structure and not just the vocabulary. So right now I'm using Tal's computer because my computer is fucked a little bit. אני משתמשת לה במחשב. So we're talking about the victim's למד. Let's see what it means. טל, למה את לא מדברת איתי? She's not talking to me lately.
את יודעת בדיוק למה.
מה? מה עשיתי לך?
מה עשית לי?
אוקיי.
היא גרה לי בבית, בלי לשלם, היא אוכלת לי את כל האוכל, שותה לי את כל הקפה, עושה לי רעש בלילה, משתמשת לי בדברים, לובשת לי את הבגדים, יושבת לי בחדר עם החברים שלה, ומעשנת לי את הסיגריות. די, נשבר לי.
Whoa, did you get all this? So where is all this anger coming from? And also, where is this li coming from? We know this li, lach, lo from sentences like טל, אני רוצה לתת לך מתנה.
לי? תודה.
טל, אני רוצה לומר לך שלום.
אהלן.
טל, אני רוצה לקנות לך פלאפל.
יאללה.
יאללה. The lamed, the li, lecha, lo, marks the destination of a giving act or a speech act, like לתת לי or לומר לי. But what you just witnessed before is Tal feeling like I'm doing a lot of bad shit to her, like being really super inconsiderate. So we see that it makes, like what I do, makes her feel bad. She's the victim of my actions, of the things that I'm doing to her.
She's even using my computer now.
אני משתמשת לה במחשב. So let's go over it again. Tal, מה אני עושה לך?
את גרה לי בבית.
I'm living in the house to her.
את אוכלת לי את כל האוכל.
I'm eating all the food to her. She could say, את אוכלת את האוכל שלי. But why mention possession if she can stress the fact that she's being screwed over because of me? That's more important. So she's saying, את אוכלת לי את כל האוכל. And then she doesn't need to say שלי anymore because she got screwed over. It's given that it was her. You want to practice another one?
את שותה לי את כל הקפה.
I'm drinking all of the coffee to her.
את מעשנת לי את כל הסיגריות.
I'm smoking all the cigarettes to her. מה זה פה?
די, נשבר לי.
נשבר לי. נשבר is broken. מה נשבר? Her patience. Her patience is broken to her. So we can even say נשבר לי. Something is broken to me because I'm the victim of this entire situation that broke my spirit and my patience. I'm fed up with it. נשבר לי. Another example in this construction is נשבר לי הפלאפון. נפל לי הפלאפון. I dropped my phone fell to me. ונשבר לי המסך. My screen broke, but the screen broke to me. So I'm the victim of the phone's inability not to fall or break. It's not my fault. It's the world's fault. It's the phone's fault. So it happened to me. So in the Israeli slang, we have this idiom based on this construction, אכלו לי, שתו לי. We use it sarcastically when we want to hint to another person that they only see themselves as the victims, and they don't try to see how they could be responsible for their own state of being or for their own actions. For example, Tal, you know what? My boss is never giving me a raise, Yaron, and the work is so hard at the Ulpan, and I can't look for another job because they only want university master graduates, and I didn't get accepted because my high school teachers failed me on purpose, and I didn't get good grades, and it's like, everything is bad.
יאללה, כל היום אכלו לי, שתו לי.
Get over it. Exactly. And before we go, there's like a small political anecdote that is tied to this idiom, "Achlu li shatu li." It might touch a painful point in the Israeli history or maybe present of the Mizrahim Jews in Israel. One of the characteristics of the rupture between Ashkenazi Jews and the Mizrahim Jews was a bilateral accusation where the Mizrahi Jews accused the Ashkenazi establishment and elite for blocking them socially and economically and keeping them in the lower level of society and academy and the job market. While the Ashkenazi Jews blamed the Mizrahi Jews for complaining and not taking responsibility for their own destiny and social and economical status, using this very idiom, "Achlu li shatu li." But luckily, we're in a different period right now, and in the last decade, this view has been changing, and people are reconsidering their view and whatever, and their look at it. And I just wanted to like share a song with you. I hope that it will work. We'll just take 5 seconds. There was the script. And this is Sarit Haddad. So, that's it.
Hi. It's hard to follow up after Sarit Haddad. Just a short anecdote about Achlu li shatu li. Achlu li shatu li is, like many Israeli phrases, has originated in the army, in the military, they used to check if everybody was quiet when they would go out into the field, and if you had a water canteen and it was half full and it would shake, then you would make noise, and then the expression came out. They would ask you why you were making noise, and you would say shatuli. That's really the origin of Achlu li shatuli. True story. So we're nearing the end. We'll go back to Yaron for another presentation about more slang, and then we'll have time for some questions, and then we'll leave you all to either the night or day, wherever you are. So this is Yaron.
Shalom shuv. Okay, so I'm here again. I just want to ask, because we wanted to give some time for questions at the end. So what I'm suggesting is that if you have specific questions, either about things that we spoke about tonight or about words that you want to know or specific phrases, then please write the questions to Ilan in private. So his user is Ulpan Bait. Write to him in private so he can afterwards just like sort it out and host it. So wait, let me share my screen again with you with computer sound and everything. Fantastic. Okay. So we're going to speak about my favorite thing today, which is drugs. Drugs in Hebrew, samim. You can see many sorts here. So what we see here, obviously, is hashish and marijuana, which are called in Hebrew hashish the weed, usually weed. And they're considered to be lighter drugs. So in Hebrew, we say samim kalim. Samim kalim, here to the left. Don't try to go to that. To the right here, we see kashim, hard drugs. So samim kashim, like heroin or opiates, these are samim kashim. So what I want to show you this evening is many words and verbs and nouns that relate to drugs. So if you live in Tel Aviv, you probably know this song. Let's hope it works. Please work. Yay, it worked. Okay, so does anyone here have a guess? What does it mean, oleli? What does it mean, oleli?
I got high.
I got high. Okay, very nice. What else? Any other guesses? Okay, no. So oleli is I got high, but in a very, very specific context. It's the I got high that usually relates to like ecstasy or Molly, like MDMA, that you feel like something really strong is happening to you. So people say oleli, and the opposite is yoredli. So yoredli is like the decline, when the effect ends, when you're at the end of it, when you suddenly you feel like you're not high anymore, then people say yoredli. And you can see that it actually relates to the lamed that Peleg just showed you, right? The oleli, yoredli. It goes up to me, it goes down to me. Why to me? I don't know, but it's the same lamed, the same effect. Okay, so now that we learned how to say I got high on ecstasy, which is oleli, whoa, let's continue to some lighter things. But before that, because we're in this context of ecstasy and partying, so you will always hear in a party tarimu or tarimi or tarim, which is the imperative form of bring it up. Leharim, to carry something basically. So leharim, as you see in this picture here, on the side there is a person like carrying a box, so hu merim et hakufsa, is taking it from the ground above. But it became a slang, which means to have fun, to have a party, to have a good time. And if you want just a hint on how to remember leharim, how to bring something up, just look at these mountains, harim, leharim, to bring something up. It's not the same root, but it's a nice way to remember it. So leharim became a slang for having a good time, creating a good atmosphere. We can even see it in the headlines. So tarimu, it's a headline timeout. I know that not many people will consider timeout to be a newspaper of any sort, but but let's try. So tarimu, bring it up, or have fun. Every day, b'chol yom yesh mesiba b'Tel-Aviv. Every day, Tel Aviv has a party. Ve'atem muzmanim b'chinam, and you're invited for free. And you can see this party of anashim merimim, people having a good time, people having fun in the party. Okay, now let's continue to sorry, I forgot the name of the movie. Oh my God. To the dude, right? So hudaluk. Now, hudaluk is when you say on someone that hudaluk or hidluka after they've taken ecstasy or LSD or mushrooms or hallucinogenics of any sort. Usually speeds, when people are really high and energetic and like delusional almost, then we say hudaluk. So al takshiv lo, hudaluk, don't listen to him, he's super high. And you can also use it as a verb. אני לא זוכר מתי נדלקתי בפעם האחרונה. I don't remember when was the last time I truly got high, like when was the last time I did cocaine or ecstasy or whatever. So who? Daluk. Okay, now let's go to our favorites. Weed. So you can see Jay-Z here, and he's very sad when you're out of weed, and think back to all those huge unnecessary joints you smoked. So Jay-Z doesn't have weed, but he wants to smoke weed, which means sheyesh lo duda. Now, what's written here is not doda, duda, and duda is basically the slang for weed craving. You can use it actually as a craving for many things. So you can say, yesh li duda le mango, which means I really want to eat mango. Or in TV shows, you will hear like this saying, yesh li duda le melafefon. I really crave pickles right now. So when you have a duda, you have to buy some weed. And to buy weed also have a specific verb, להתארגן על. So צריך להתארגן על weed. We need to organize ourselves on weed. So להתארגן על is the way to say that you need to buy drugs, or the way to say buying drugs. להתארגן. Usually not only drugs, but also other things that are just like slightly illegal. Let's continue. Okay, so as you know, or not, Israelis really like to smoke a lot of weed, so it's a really, really common drug here in Israel. But Israelis tend to smoke their marijuana with tobacco. Tobacco is called farsh. Farsh is also a slang for something that's worthless. So farsh, as a farsh, it's worthless. The weed is called weed. And when you combine them two together, you get ksesa. Ksesa is just the mixture of weed and tobacco. And if you're living, or if you know people who smoke weed, Israelis, you will hear this word so many times. Ksesa, which is the mixture, got a verb, lekasses, to create this mixture of weed and tobacco. Legalgel, from rolling, is just to roll a joint, legalgel, and leashen, to smoke. Guess what? Israeli Hebrew is so productive that the word that we just saw, lekasses, like to create this ksesa, so it all started with the ksesa, right? So the ksesa was the first word, and then almost a year after it became part of our lexicon, it got itself a verb, lekasses, to make ksesa, and then suddenly a new tool. It looks like it's from the Stone Age. Actually, I guess it sure is. It's half a coconut, and this is called ksesonit in Hebrew, which is where you make the ksesa. So I took the courtesy to use this drug lecture to actually speak about Hebrew roots. I hope you're enjoying yourselves. Let's continue. Here we see Abi and Dilana from Broad City. I love this show. I don't know if you also. And they both have different approaches to weed. So we have Abi here, me'ashenet joint, le'ashen joint. So joint is the way you say like joint in Hebrew, but you can also say faisal, which comes from Arabic, or sometimes you can hear ktana, a small one. While what Ilana is doing here is lehorid rosh, to smoke a bang. So this is a little hardcore, so we can continue. Now, what happens to someone who smokes weed? I don't know if you know, but people get high. To get high in Hebrew is lehitmastel, comes from Arabic. In Arabic, we say mastul. It entered Hebrew and became a verb, lehitmastel. Someone who is mitmasteling becomes mastul. So if I want, I can also conjugate it. Hitmastalti, ani mitmastel, ani etmastel be'atid. And the next word is satla. Ya ala achi, ezo satla. Which basically means, yo bro, I'm so high. Let's continue. We're still with the weed, right? So it has effects. You can lehikanes lemanchis, nichnasti lemanchis, or just to say ani bemanch, which means that you want to eat. It's not different than English, I think. And the bad effects of weed is becoming paranoid. So seret ra, a bad movie, lehikanes lesratim, which literally means to enter the movies. But what it actually means when smoking, and actually no one uses it differently, is when you get into loops in your head. So it's very weed related, but it can also happen like in many situations that you're nichnas lesratim, when you're not sure, when you overheard someone speaking about you and you're not sure what they said, and you're starting to think and think and think. This is called lehikanes leseret or lehikanes lesratim. And when it's something very bad, you can just say, wow, eze seret ra. It's also being used in many crazy and unreal situations, like if you had a car accident even, or someone bumped into you with their bicycle, you can say, seret ra. Wow, what the hell, what just happened? It's like the worst thing ever. So this is seret ra, and it's also like what you say if you smoked weed and you're feeling really, really bad and someone is asking you, is everything okay? You can just say, ani beseret, I'm in a movie, and everyone knows what it means. It means that you need to drink some orange juice right now. Let's continue. shurot. Okay, so what is shurot? We have מחברת shurot. You see, shura is basically a line. מחברת shurot is a notebook with lines. שורות השיר. So here we have 100 אנשים, 100 people choosing, בוחרים את שורות השיר האהובות עליהם ביותר. 100 people choosing the lines from the song that they mostly like. So in a shir, we have shura. You can also see that it's even the same root, more or less, shir, shura. They're definitely related. But obviously, we're not here to talk about songs or notebooks. We're here to speak about drugs now. So shurot, I guess if you all already understood it, has to do with cocaine. So shurot, this is how you say, like, doing cocaine. Lehasnif, just like in English, sniffing. Lehasnif, la'asot, and the old school way to say lehariach. These are all like the three verbs that you would use with doing cocaine, or just simply la'asot shurot. And last thing, heroin. Stam, I'm just kidding. I'm not getting into heroin slang with you. I don't know anything about it, but I'm sure it's very, very hardcore. So this was me about drugs. I hope it wasn't too intense. And let's go back to Ilan and try to answer some questions.